Right then, Group B. Excellent on Group A, by the way. I love that. Group B, Mikhail, we've got Spain, Italy, Albania, and Croatia, the group of
Yes.
death. Personally, for me, I think Group C is a group of death because England have got some really tough teams on their hands, but people just see
Yeah.
the names, they don't see the actual teams. We can't not go to Spain first. Let's go to Spain. Spain,
Yeah.
Lamine Yamal, it's got
It
to be,
actually
right?
is very good. So yeah, from Spain, another devastating story for Georgia, unfortunately, because we had to pick Lamine Yamal,
Oh, talk to
and
me
the
about
guy.
that. Talk to me about that moment when you saw him play against Georgia, your home
Well,
nation. What was that like?
if this episode is about wonder kids, and if there is at least one wonder kid in this list, it's gonna be him. And the devastating story that I was speaking about is about the fact that quite recently we lost 6-1 against Spain at home in Tbilisi. And
You were in Spain without the S.
yes,
Pain.
absolutely, unfortunately.
I hate that joke. I use it so often. I'm so sorry. But continue.
And Yamal, he came. Basically, he was on the bench. He was subbed on in the second half. First of all, I believe, he became the youngest ever, basically the youngest ever player who played for Spain. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But what I know for sure is that he scored a goal, and he definitely became the youngest ever goal scorer for Spain.
Yes.
And he scored against us. Um, and it was, yeah, devastating to watch, but he was absolutely amazing. When I watched him live, he was explosive. He was basically Georgian defenders were just basically unable to stop him. He was all over the pitch. And well, basically the things that he can do with the ball at a very high speed at such a young age is quite impressive. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him in such a difficult group, I would say. And it's really interesting to see how he performs with the
Abs
likes of especially Italy.
Absolutely. You're going to play against a couple of teams that are low block as well. I got the chance to watch Lamine Yamal live in Barcelona this season. I got to watch him play against Real Sociedad. He scored the first goal, which was incredible. So he was really the focal point for Barcelona in terms of let's get the ball to Lamine Yamal, sorry. Let's get the ball to Lamine Yamal. Let's get him on the ball at his feet. Let him drive at defenders. Let him give them a nightmare night. And he did absolutely fantastic. Even in a game where it didn't really mean much, but Barcelona had to secure second place, it was great to see. And I've been discussing this all season because Sarah, our co-host, is a Barcelona fan. But I'm going to ask you this question before we move on to the next teams as well. What is Lamine Yamal's best trait right now as a footballer? Is it his speed, agility, composure on the ball, awareness? What do you think it is, Mikhail, from what you've seen?
I would say explosiveness, but at the same time, his ability to keep the ball very close to his feet while he's actually running at full speed, which is quite difficult to execute. And I'm saying this because at such a young age, to be able to do that, it's quite impressive and unusual. So that's why he's considered as one of the biggest talents out there.
I love it. It's fantastic. Now we have to see who their main rivals in the group will have as their wonder kid. Italy, the former winners in 2021 after they devastated England with an incredible display at Wembley Stadium. And me being an English person, I'm like, I can accept it because a lot of people were like, oh no, we should have won. We should have won, but we didn't because we
Yeah.
weren't clinical enough. We were awful after the first goal. And unfortunately, Sancho, Saka, and Rashford had to deal with the pain of Gareth Southgate's inability to coach, which was awful. He didn't go for the kill at his home stadium in Wembley, the best chance we've ever had to win an international tournament in the 21st century, and Gareth Southgate bottled it. And three young kids had to then deal with the pain, really, of England. But Italy did their job. Donnarumma did his job. They had a fantastic team, a starting 11, which was incredible. Immobile, Chiesa, you had the likes of Bonucci and Chiellini having their one last dance for Italy. But as we know, they're retired now, Bonucci and Chiellini. There's a defender I want to talk about, but was there any other wonder kid from Italy you thought we should be speaking about, Mika?
Well, I think we're on the same page. But obviously, yeah, Italy always had and will always have interesting youngsters. But the thing is that it's quite, I would say, romantic to see a very talented young center back, especially when Italy had this culture of developing fantastic world-class defenders.
Of
So it's
course.
great to see a new up and coming young center back in their squad.
Giorgio Scalvini. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same person here.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. He didn't start in the Europa League final, but he has been fantastic for Atalanta all season long. My worry is the fact that he may be beaten for pace because earlier this season when England were playing Italy, Harry Kane beat Scalvini for pace, and Harry Kane isn't the quickest of players for England, so Scalvini's got a lot to deal with in terms of his positioning, his awareness as a centre back. He can't be exposed if he's playing with Acerbi or Bastoni. He has to be ready to deal with the likes of Lamine Yamal. If you're going to be playing against Kramaric as well. What's his name? I forgot his name. Armando Broja from Albania, of course, as well. So he's going to have to deal with the physical threats as well as the mental threats as well, because there is a lot of pressure on young centre backs from Italy, like you mentioned as well. Mikel Bastoni
absolutely.
is going to be a really big player for them moving forward because he won the Serie A this season. The Scudetto is his. So a lot to come from Scalvini. But with Scalvini, do you think he will be a starter for Italy?
Yeah, the thing is that well, it's a 50-50, you know, and also the thing with Euros is that, and with this international tournaments, basically coaches tend to pick experienced players, and they don't want to take a lot of risks. So that's why I think it's going to be a bit difficult for him. But I think on a tactical level, as far as I know, Atalanta have been playing with the back five. And if Italy also play with the back five, I think it's going to be a perfect fit for him because he knows the system. He's quite adept to that. So I think in terms of the tactical aspects, he's not going to struggle a lot.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good, and especially with Albania and Croatia in a group vying for that second place and maybe the best of third place positions as well. We will go to Albania now, and Albania again is a player we haven't really seen much, or I haven't seen much of as well. Playing for Besiktas, Ernest Muçi.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Mika. What have we learned about Muçi that we think we may pronounce his name wrong? I may pronounce Muçi. I think it's Muçi with the accent, but I'm not too
Yes.
sure. What have
I'm
we
not
learned
sure.
about him this season? Because again, Albania, they came into Euro 2016. They were a very bright spark. They were very engaging to see at the tournament in Euro 2016 in France as well. But what can we expect from, we're not going to talk about Albania today, but just from Muçi? Because again, it's going to be a
Yeah.
young side, but not young in age, young in tournament experience, as we like to say.
Exactly, yeah. So Mucci, I've seen his games when he played for Legia, and the thing that I liked the most about him was that he stepped up for his team when it mattered the most. If I'm not mistaken, he scored 3 times against Aston Villa. Aston Villa, the side that was one of the favorites actually to go through and actually win the tournament, maybe,
I'm
maybe.
glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Olympiacos had better scenes when they won the Conference League. So I'm glad
And
they didn't.
basically, they were in a very good form at the time when Legia was playing against them. And the fact that Musi stepped up when it mattered the most, he scored at home, away as well, which is not easy to do. And I believe he will be a very important player for them as he's quite explosive, very quick. And against the teams like Spain, Italy, Albania will definitely need some fast players up front to hit them on counterattacks and utilize those chances. So I think with Musi and his explosiveness and pace on the counterattack especially, and his ability to keep the ball in tight spaces despite not being the most physical player in the squad, he will be a very important player for that Albania side.
You're basically describing the Albanian Paulo Dybala to me right there. He can play as an
Sort of.
attacking midfielder. He can hold the ball well. He's not the strongest, but is a good technical player. I'm looking forward to Mucci. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing him as well. It should be a fun conversation to have because I'll be like, yeah, we know about him. We saw him play for Legia Warsaw this season. And I can tease Salim, my Aston Villa co-host as well. But like, he's beating you again, which is great. Maybe one for fantasy football as well, for Euro 2004 fantasy football. Final team in the group, Croatia. Now, we know Croatia as having all of these old players in their team. We saw that at the World Cup. We saw them in terms of having Brozovic, Modric, Kramaric. Got all of these players. I think Cerna was still playing in Euro 2021 as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. Josko Gvardia was considered the young player coming through, and he was at left back. And as we saw in the World Cup, Messi lowered his transfer value. And just like in the FA Cup final, Alejandro Garnacho lowered his stock level as well, which is great to see. But then again, I blame Ortega for that. That was poor goalkeeping from him, in my opinion. But is there a wonder kid that's kind of... Sorry, I interrupted you there. Is there a wonder kid from Croatia that kind of sticks out for you? Or is it going to be just a young player who's going to be on the cusp of coming into the first team? What do you think? Because I think the Croatia team, and I think you said the same thing, the Croatia team is pretty much established in starting 11. It's about who can break in to that starting 11. What do you think?
Yeah, I believe there is at least one very interesting young player. And who else if not Dinamo Zagreb's academy product? All due respect to Hajduk Split, but Dinamo Zagreb are absolutely amazing at producing world-class talents. And
if
I
you
believe,
need to look back at the history of some of these players that have come from there, it's unbelievable. And we should really do a series on that, on all the players that these academies have produced, because a lot of people just think they come out of thin air, but they've been incredible in terms of what they've done. But yes, who are we going for this one?
Martin Baturina, a classic number 10, creative attacking midfielder who can definitely provide and create very good chances, especially from set pieces.
Oh, I love a set piece, me.
That's the thing. I believe he will be able, well, at least from what I've seen at Dinamo Zagreb, he's able to provide very good crosses from set pieces, whether it's from corners or from indirect free kicks. I believe he has the ability to provide very good crosses and create chances in the final third with line breaking passes or cutback crosses. So I think that's going to be his biggest strength at this tournament. And also he can score from the distance. One of the set piece routines that Dinamo Zagreb has is playing a short pass to Martin Baturina, who carries the ball to the edge of the box and shoots from the range. So I think
just like me on Friday night, when I play football, edge of the box. Call me Manish because he did it in 2004 at the Euros as well. Nice little.
So yeah, he's quite young, just turned 21, and obviously he needs more experience. So maybe, just maybe, he won't be able to be a starter from the very beginning, but certainly he should have enough capacity to come off from the bench and make the difference.
What he'll be learning from his teammates as well, especially Luka Modric, who could be in his last international tournament too. I mean, he scored 5 goals and 8 assists this season in the league, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he will do in international football. And it's going to be fun because we've seen someone like Halilovic come through for Croatia, and he was billed as the next big thing. And he never really hit the grade because he has so much expectation on him. So hopefully with Baturina, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, I think so.
with Baturina, I said it in a Spanish accent. With Baturina, we're hopefully going to have a bit less pressure on him, and he can just develop at his own pace as well. It reminds me of who can I say? With Josko Gvardiol, because when Josko Gvardiol came onto the scene in the World Cup, everyone then saw him because of him losing out to Lionel Messi. But people before that knew he's actually a really good player for RB Leipzig. Gvardiol, Ibrahima Konate, Upamecano, all coming through RB Leipzig. Fantastic development in their side for young centre-backs as well. Actually, young players in general, to be fair. So Martin Baturina, he could be a player we could be seeing at the European Championships shine. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes as well. But yeah, that's the end of Group B.